Now to the Middle East, where daily strikes between Hezbollah and Israeli forces have ignited literal fires. The flames are tearing through forests and farmland on both sides of the border, causing damage to tens of thousands of acres of land that experts fear is irreversible. Meanwhile, Gaza ceasefire negotiations are gaining momentum as Israel says it will resume talks. The announcement came shortly after Hamas submitted revised terms of the peace proposal. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams is there. She joins us from Tel Aviv, Israel. Holly, let's start off with what could be the biggest breakthrough, this ceasefire. How significant is the developing negotiations? What's different from previous talks?
Hey there, Lana. Well, look, it's a good question because we've been here many times before, haven't we? Seemingly on the brink of a ceasefire deal. This time around, U.S. officials are sounding remarkably upbeat. In fact, one senior U.S. official said that the Hamas response to the existing ceasefire proposal, which came on Wednesday, quote, may provide the basis for closing the deal. This time around, we also know much more about that ceasefire proposal that's on the table than we have during previous negotiations because President Biden made some of it public back in May. It is a three-stage plan. Under that framework, female, elderly and wounded hostages would be released first, while Israeli troops would pull out of populated areas in Gaza. The second phase would see the release of the remaining living hostages, and Israeli forces would withdraw from the Gaza Strip. I mean, look, the bottom line is that we don't know if this will come to fruition, but just a reminder, I guess, of what's at stake, because it's human beings that are at the heart of this war. There are thought to be around 120 hostages still being held captive in the Gaza Strip, and the death toll in Gaza is now more than 38,000, according to the Hamas-run health ministry.
Holly, so appreciate you keeping the focus on people. Israeli forces are battling on multiple fronts, and there are folks in each of these areas that are trying to figure out what's going on. The IDF conducted an operation in the West Bank targeting Palestinian militants. I'm wondering if you can tell us more about that.
Yeah, I can. Palestinian authorities say that 7 people were killed in an Israeli military operation in Jenin in the West Bank. Israel's military says that its soldiers encircled a building, exchanging fire with those inside, which they say were terrorists, while an airstrike targeted that area. Now, this comes just a day after an Israeli anti-settlement group revealed new plans to build more than 5,000 new homes in settlements in the West Bank. Now, as you know, Palestinians want the Gaza Strip and the occupied West Bank to become their own Palestinian state. During the war in Gaza, violence has also spiked in the West Bank. Palestinian authorities say that more than 500 Palestinians have been killed.
And Holly, President Biden is expected to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu later this month. Both of the leaders are on the so-called political hot seat, essentially fighting for their political careers right now. Does that raise the stakes of this meeting?
Well, look, they're expected to meet in Washington later on this month. I'll leave the American political analysis to my colleagues in Washington. But yes, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is fighting to stay in power, and he is under immense pressure. He is a wartime leader. There are many Israelis who blame him for the apparent security failures on October 7th, as well as for not bringing all of the hostages home. There may be a second war brewing between Israel and the Hezbollah militant group in Lebanon. Israel is under pressure from its most important ally, the US, to end this war, while at the same time, far right-wing members of Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet have threatened to bring his government down if he agrees to a ceasefire. And then hanging over all of that are corruption allegations against Benjamin Netanyahu, which he denies. So it would be the understatement of the year to say that Benjamin Netanyahu is in a bit of a tight spot, but he's been in plenty of tight spots before, and there's a reason that many Israelis call him the magician.
All right, Holly Williams there for us in Tel Aviv. Thank you, Holly.